Ken Trahan and Lenny Vangilder of SportsNova.com on Monday, recapping the football weekend, and it was not a particularly good weekend for local teams. The winner, the LSU Tigers, and they took care of business, Lenny, and they're number one in the BCS, and they deserve to be.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt. It's amazingly close, though, between LSU and Alabama. Literally, 3/10,000ths of a point. And one voter changing their vote one way or the other is going to make a difference. And but the thing is going to play itself out on the field ultimately. The way it shakes out right now, you've got LSU, Alabama, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, who says we don't have a playoff? Maybe we do. LSU and Alabama play, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State play. If everybody takes care of business everywhere else, the winners of those two games may be playing in the Superdome come January the 9th.
Well, we certainly want to see LSU's offensive line get healthier with the issues they've had, but they ran the ball effectively, wore down Tennessee. Jarrett Lee threw the ball accurately again, and Jordan Jefferson made plays with his feet, and that's why he's valuable to this team.
Great. The two-quarterback system is clearly here to stay, and Les Miles is doing a great job of mixing and matching and making things happen. I think you're still seeing a little bit, perhaps, when they're making changes rather from series to series, from play to play, in terms of trying to get things in quickly, but it's not nearly what it was last year.
As for Tulane, really nothing to talk about. I mean, a dismal performance against a mediocre to not very good football team in UTEP, and Lenny, a lot of rumors circulating. I don't think anything happens during the season, but it's pretty clear at this point that the watch is on for the Bob Toledo regime.
Well, you now have 5 losses. 7 losses means you don't go bowling, and how this team wins 5 out of its last 6 right now is beyond me. Yeah, it's Memphis. At least this is a team this week that they are clearly better than, and ideally they will get healthy. But still, there's no explanation for what happened 2 days ago against UTEP.
There's really nothing to discuss. It was a disgustingly poor performance, and the third and 4 weeks for that nature, where Tulane's concerned. Syracuse game they played spirited but lost, and now it's simply a matter of, I think, counting the days out, because I do not see Tulane getting to 7 wins. As for the Saints, well, this was a pretty disappointing loss. And I know 3 road games in a row is tough, Lenny, but they're better than Tampa Bay, and they had guys that hurt them that should never hurt you. Aurelius Ben, Ernest Graham. I mean, these are not guys that should be hurting you very much.
No, you're absolutely right. It's this is the same Tampa Bay team that just got waxed at San Francisco 7 days earlier. And while you could say that, hey, the players on the field play, I think they were clearly affected by what happened with Sean Payton. That is a situation you game plan for a lot of things. You get Chase Daniel in the meeting room ready, give him a few reps just in case something happens to Drew Brees. The whole next man up mantra that we've heard for so long. There is no next man up for a head coach. It's not like Pete Carmichael is practicing calling the plays just in case Sean Payton gets taken out with an injury. You don't game plan for that. So as many things as coaches will tell you they prepare for all these options, they were not ready for that, and I think emotionally that affected that team.
I don't think there's any doubt it affected them emotionally and performance-wise, because they feed off of Sean Payton and his gambling nature and the fact that he shows confidence in his players and is a brilliant game day coach. And there were a couple of instances that certainly came to mind. Number one, the use of the time before the 2-minute warning and wasting time there and not taking the challenge until the warning occurs and then blowing your time out to boot. Simply not good game management. And, of course, the call at the goal line with Drew Brees on a bootleg right condenses the field significantly in an already condensed situation, and so you have little or no room. We know that he had a wide-open receiver across the field, but because he was rolling right, he didn't see Meacham.
Right, he cut the field in half and tried to force something. And one thing I noticed, and maybe Brees pressed a little bit yesterday considering the circumstances. Maybe he felt a little bit more on him. I don't know. But if Brees has one fault, it's that he can think that he can make throws that sometimes he just can't make, and that was evident sometimes yesterday.
Yep, they are still tied for first in the division, and finally come home to play the hapless Colts, which ought to help them get well. Well, the Saints are in a pretty good position despite the loss. Tulane's in a lousy position. LSU's in a great position. I think we agree on all those.
No question about it. It's going to be an interesting week this week. On all of those fronts. How are the Saints going to deal with that situation? How quickly is Sean Payton going to get back to work? Is he going to be up in the booth next week calling plays? At LSU, you've got to avoid the letdown going into the Alabama game with Auburn coming up. And then Tulane, like you said, are we on Bob Toledo watch already?
Yep. Well, you can watch all of this and pay attention to our weekly television show, Sports NOLA TV, and that's every Monday at 6 p.m. Sports NOLA TV, 6 p.m. Mondays on WHNO Channel 20. Lenny, as always, a pleasure.
As always.
For Lenny Vangilder, I'm Ken Trahan. Thanks for joining us at sportsnola.com.